All right, so welcome to our week 4 class meeting. Miss Brandy here, and today we're gonna just continue on with ICD 10. I'm sorry I missed last week's meeting. My daughter was sick, so I had to take a sick day on Thursday. But I did go back and watch the recording of what y'all covered. Yes, instructors even go back and watch the meetings when we miss, to kind of see what y'all went over, what y'all had questions about, and how we needed to proceed forward. So I think I've got a good plan together, to get us some practice in, review a couple of key points, clarify a few things for you guys. So I am going to share my screen, of course, and let's see. And the first thing we're going to talk about today is something that the instructors, one of our fabulous instructors, Miss Ashley Leslie, who she does her own Zoom on Thursdays, but she got with us and told us about um, a little continuing education opportunity, basically. Y'all have heard us talk about the CMS website and how to get updates and newsletters and things like that, updates on CMS and what's happening with Medicare and different things in the billing and coding world. We use that website a lot, right? Because they are one of the governing bodies for the codes in the billing industry. So if you go to CMS's website, they have up at the top, and they cover Medicare and Medicaid services. So up at the top, you're going to see Medicare, Medicaid, and then there's one that says like additional training. I'm going to hop over to their website and show y'all exactly in just a second. But you can go to their website and get free online training courses. And I went and zoomed through one of them this morning just to see what it was like and what y'all would be going through. And I picked the shortest one there was, which was 30 minutes. Most of them were an hour, some were an hour and a half, the ones that were more involved. But the shortest one was 30 minutes. I breezed through that this morning. And now I have this awesome certification certificate from CMS saying that I went through this training course. Now that number one for me, that updates me on any current regulations that have changed since the last time I looked at that material. And number two, I can put that on my resume. You can put that on your resume and it's free, y'all. It's free. So I'm gonna hop out of this right quick and I'm gonna show y'all exactly what that looks like. The link is going to be posted in Moodle. I'm gonna put it on the certification resources page or tabby. Um, get with your instructor to find out if they're putting it somewhere different. I'm not sure who's going to put it where, but we all did discuss that we were going to share it with you guys because it's a it's a wonderful resource. It really is. Can you guys see the website that I'm on? Yeah, the cms.gov. All right. So when you click the link in Moodle, it's going to bring you directly to this page. All right. So MLN web-based training, that's Medicare Learning Network. And y'all remember what I say, Medicare billing specialists, money, 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 money. That's where the money is. Okay. So you've got Medicare web-based training that is free self-paced learning on a broad range of topics for healthcare providers. All right. And if you scroll down, you'll see the available courses: an introduction to language access plans, caring for LGBTQI plus patients, world of Medicare, Medicare billing, more Medicare billing, Medicare Part C and D, diagnosis coding, procedure coding. And this is the one I did, combating Medicare Part C and D fraud, waste, and abuse. Not too long ago, y'all learned of the difference between waste and abuse and fraud and all that stuff. So I ran through there. Look, it says how long it is, hours, 30 minutes. And it tells you what you're going to learn about. And then once you're once you're done with that, let's see if my little certificate is on there.
So is it a different certificate for each link or?
Yeah, it's a different little training course for each of those links. So you can stack these up. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do about 5 of them. And I'm going to put this little section in my resume, and I'm going to put CMS certified in blah. And I'm going to list which ones I did. Okay. Can y'all see the certificate? No. Okay. There we go. Y'all should be able to see it now. CMS Certification of Completion, Brandy Guillory. That is me. Combating Medicare Part C and D fraud, waste, and abuse. So, just a phenomenal free resource. All right. And also, you guys, I'm going to hop back. There we go. Also, right up here at the top in this first paragraph, you'll see subscribe to our MLN Connects newsletter for updates and to find out when new web-based courses are going to be available. So you can get them to email you whenever they have a new one that you can just pop in there and do and add to your certifications, add to your knowledge base. I mean, it's just fantastic. Fantastic stuff. So we wanted to definitely share that with you guys as soon as we found out about it, and hope you guys take advantage of it because it's going to be phenomenal. Okay, let's see. Let me see if I can share my little presentation from here. All right, let's see. Can you guys see the presentation again? Awesome sauce. All right, so almost every meeting that you guys come to for the next couple of months, you're going to see the steps for accurate coding because, like I said, that is the process that we're going to use for ICD-10 and CPT. All right. And like Miss Danielle said last week, once you get this process down, you follow these steps, it turns into cake. It really does. So we're going to identify our main terms or keywords. And I know that y'all have noticed that the coding scenarios that they are giving y'all are getting longer. They're providing more information, more complicated. You've got to learn how to sift through that information and pick out those keywords, right? And just hone in on the information that's vital for us, right? Because not everything is, okay? Locate the main term in the alphabetic index. We always start with our alphabetic index, right? We review the subterms under the main term in the alphabetic index. We got to follow our indentions down, right, to find what code what most fits our scenario. We're going to follow any cross-reference instructions such as see or see as or something like that. Verify the code selected from the alphabetic index in the tabular index. We always, always, always verify, right? We never ever stop at the alphabetic index, right? All right, we're going to refer to any instructional notations in the tabular. And that means adding placeholders, adding indicators at the end, whatever we need to add. We're going to assign codes to the highest level of specificity. And that just means that we are going to get as specific with our coding as we can. Use every bit of information at our, in our hands to get as specific as we can. And then the last one, of course, is code the diagnosis until all elements are completely identified. We want again, using all the information we have in our hands to get as specific with everything as and accurate as possible. Okay. Verify always. We always, always verify, right? Okay. So, one of the things that I feel like a lot of folks struggle with, and I feel like the textbook, there's like a one paragraph introduction about this in chapter 2, and I just don't think that's enough. I think a lot of people struggle with this, so I want to talk about it real quick, all right? And that's placeholders. You guys are going to see in your chapter exercises and things, they're going to ask y'all for codes that have XX or XA or whatever crazy ending that these codes have, right? And the reason for that, those X's that they have in there are called placeholders. For codes less than 6 characters that require a 7th character, a placeholder X is assigned for all characters less than 6, right? So your code could run anywhere from 3 to 7 characters, right? And where does that X come from? And why is that a thing? That's a thing because they call it a placeholder so that they can expand that code later on. So they can add to it. They feel like when they say they want it out to the 7th character and they want placeholders, it's because they're expecting that code to expand in the future. They're expecting to be able to or have to add on to it to get more specific in the future as medicine advances, right? So, in common question is, how do I know when that is the case, when I need to use these X's, right? And the first way you know that is when you look in your tabular index, there's going to be a red X in front of that code. And that is an automatic indicator, hey, I'm going to have a placeholder in this code somewhere, right? Let's see. I don't know if y'all can see the whole screen because a little doodad, but the way it sets up, you're going to have your code in the front, your placeholder in the middle, and any additional indicators on the end. And additional indicators, we'll take a closer look in my example at that I have for this. And it's my favorite. I use it every time we go through this chapter because it's just my favorite. So we're going to look at an example of how this plays out and how you're going to recognize it in your book. Okay. So any questions thus far on placeholders? No? All right. So let's jump into an example of this. And this is my favorite. Little Johnny went to the doctor because he stuck a pea in his right ear. This was the second time Johnny stuck something in his ear. All right. So aside from little Johnny's going to get his butt whooped. All right. Cause yeah, the second time my child sticks a pea in his ear, her ear, we're gonna have issues. All right, so something y'all may not know if you don't have any medical experience is that anytime something is stuck inside the human body, it's called a foreign body, right? Something that is foreign to the body. It's not supposed to be there. And a pea in the ear is not supposed to be there. A marble up the nose, a flashlight in the butt. Regardless of what it is, it's not supposed to be there. Okay? So it is a foreign body. You just laughing. I get carried away, y'all. You'll have to forgive me. All right, so we got a foreign body in the ear. So that's what you're going to start with in your alphabetic index. All right, you're going to start with a foreign body because that's what we have. All right, let's see. And that note down there at the bottom, notice the red dot by the code is for when you find it in the alphabetic index. There will be a red dot next to it. But let me know what y'all get to for foreign body. And also for those of y'all with no medical experience, your nose, your nostrils, your mouth, your ears, and other body parts are considered orifices. Okay, anywhere something can come in and out of your body, other than like a stab wound or something like that, the natural occurring places in your body where things can be inserted or whatever is called an orifice. Okay, so we're looking for a foreign body, and then under that it's going to indent down, and you're probably we're looking for ear because that's where he stuck it, and then you're probably looking for insertion into orifice or something along those lines. Oh, Johnny. All right, so let's see. All right, so I'm looking in my alphabetic index, guys, and I'm looking along that first line under foreign bodies in red, and then it says with, right? Along that first line. So I am looking for, let's see, accidentally left following a procedure. Oh Lord, let's hope not. And we're just gonna follow that first line down until we get to what we need. And it looks like in my book, and I'm using the 2023, I think, ICD-10. Yeah, 2023. It's on page 262. And it's like the third column for foreign body. And y'all will notice there are pages for foreign body, pages of columns. Okay. But a little bit past or around the middle of that column, it says entering through orifice. All right. And then below that, it's going to start listing body parts of what orifice they stuck it in. Right. So we're looking for an ear. So we're just going to follow that second line, the second indentation down till we find ear. Let's see, colon, ear. External, it says T16, and then that little red dot at the end, right? And that little red dot, all that says is that it means that you're going to add on something to that code. It's not going to be just that, right? It's as good as that stop sign in the tabular index. Kind of the same thing. So that's telling me T16 is where we need to go in our tabular. There's nothing around it that says C anywhere else or anything like that. So that's where we're going to go, T16. And we're going to see which one we're dealing with there.
And it's on page 1450 in the 2023.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it is. She's already been through this one, y'all. All right, so if you look at the beginning, T16, and you notice the little red stop sign there, foreign body in the ear, okay? And it says includes foreign body and auditory canal. And it says right under that, the appropriate seventh character is to be added to each code from category T16. So anywhere under T16, you've got to add placeholders, right? They want it out to that seventh character. All right, so and then I was talking about indicators. There's a little bluish purplish box right under that, right? That says ADS, initial encounter, subsequent encounter, and sequela. All right, so initial is going to be the first time something happens. The subsequent is going to be the second time this particular thing happens. All right, and sequela is in addition to. Anything after that is going to be sequela. All right, so we're looking at T16 and we got to indent down. So let's look at our T16.1, which is foreign body in the right ear. And it doesn't matter what he stuck in his ear, whether it's a pea, a marble, or whatever. It's going to be a foreign body, okay? Foreign body in right ear. Well, that's, yeah, right ear, pea in the right ear. So that fits. But I want to look at the other stuff just right under it just to make sure nothing else fits better. So left ear or unspecified. Nope, neither one of those are going to fit. We know it's the right ear. So our T16.1 is going to be our code, but we have to add our placeholders. Note the X in front of the code, okay? All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 characters. T16.1, that's 4. So we've got to add 5, 6, and 7 onto that. We got to add 3 things to make it the 7, right? So the first thing, we know this is this is not his first time. This is his subsequent encounter. So we're going to have a D on the end of it. All right. So that means we need 2 X's to make up the 7. We're going to add the D, stick those 2 X's in the middle, and it's going to look like this. All right. T16.1 plus your placeholder XX plus your additional indicator D. And that's basically how you put it together, guys. And it's not always going to be 2 X's, it could be 1. It's not always going to have an additional indicator. It may not. It just may be whatever code in X, one X and no indicator, and that's it. It all depends on the code. Okay. Any questions about how we got there? Nope. We're good with placeholders? Those X's aren't going to throw us off anymore? Yeah. I mean, every now and then, y'all, mistakes happen. Don't beat yourself up about it. Mistakes happen. They happen all the time. We still make mistakes. Do not beat yourself up about it. You'll catch it. Either you'll catch it yourself or the claim will come back to you. It is not the end of the world if one comes back to you sometimes. Okay? We want it to happen as little as possible, but it happens. That's just a fact of it. It's just a fact. They come back. All right, so we are good on placeholders. All right, so I will let y'all pick. From last week's meeting, I gathered that there were still some questions about external cause codes and that index, and I heard something about chapter exercises 3-4. And I know Miss Marsh and Miss Danielle said they were going to look into that and get back with you and they could clarify a little bit better on those. I have prepared myself to do that if y'all want to do that. We can go through, I've got 2 other coding examples that we can work through and then work through 3-4, or we can skip these and go to 3-4. It's up to y'all. I'd like to just go ahead and work through them because, I mean, hey, practice is practice, right? Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Awesome sauce. Okay. All right. So let's start with an easy one. Fibromyalgia. Straight up. It's an illness. It's a very sad illness, y'all. It really is. I feel so bad for the folks that suffer with that. I had a friend in high school that she was the first person back in the 90s I ever knew that went to school online. She went to high school online because there were days that she could not move. There were days she couldn't get out of bed. So fibromyalgia, we're going to go straight to that in our alphabetic index. All right, so let me know what y'all find when y'all get there.
M79.7.
M79.7, right. Now, is that what you verified in the tabular, or is that what you found in the alphabetic index?
I went from the index to the tabular.
Verified in the tabular.
Very good. You see there's nothing around it, nothing you need to add. It is straight, just straight up. Very easy and right up front. Very simple code, right? Sometimes they're like that. Sometimes it is just that straightforward, and sometimes it's not. And this next one is going to be one of those examples where it's not that straightforward. Okay. All right. So the second one, gestational mammary abscess. Patient is 8 months along in her pregnancy. All right. So our key word on this one, our key chief complaint here is abscess, right? Gestational and mammary are going to kind of specify that down. You want to try to kind of find your, and I'm sorry for the train, I'm sorry, but you want to find your most generalized term to start with in your alphabetic index, and then you can narrow it down from there. So I start with abscess. And I'm going to go to it because there's some things I want to show y'all on this one. All right, so abscess is going to be right in the front of your alphabetic index. Normal, abnormal. All right, and there's columns and columns and columns for abscesses too. You can get them so many places. Ooh, yucky stuff.
So, so mammary, it's going to be under breast.
Well, this is where it kind of goes tricky. Okay. So the first thing that I would look for would be breast or gestational, or you can look for mammary. You can start when you're coding, you can start at different places and end up at the right code. There's when they say there's multiple ways to skin a cat, it's the same way with coding. You can start in the wrong place and still get to the right code because the book is going to tell you where to go, right? So let's say we started with breast. All right. In the second column, it says breast, acute, chronic, I can't ever say this word, puerperal, non-puerperal. All right. And then under it, it says newborn, and then it says puerperal, postpartum, gestational. See mastitis, obstetric, purulent. Okay. I had to literally today when I looked at this, I had to look up what puerperal and purulent meant so I could find the right code. Do not feel bad if you have to do the same. We do not have PhDs. We are not doctors. We're not going to know every term in the book, right? So I Google searched what those meant to narrow it down some. All right. So that's one way you can go, and it says to see mastitis. All right. But our thing here doesn't really say anything about mastitis. So where's the other one? If you look in the column over, if you keep going down and you look in the column over, you'll see gestational mammary. And it gives you a code and then one of those little red dots. Okay. Gestational mammary. So, and the point is that you can get to it different ways. Now, if you were to have stopped at breast and went to mastitis, you could still get to the right code. Okay. Let's look at that. Let's look up mastitis right quick and see where it takes us. But I always, when I'm looking for something, guys, I will look, and I don't always stop at the first thing I see. I keep reading down the columns a little bit to see if there's maybe something that fits a little bit better. Because instead of mastitis, gestational mammary fits what we're reading here a little bit better. But I want to show y'all that you can still get to it if you would have went to mastitis. And of course, I'm going to like every page around it. All right, so let's see. Mastitis. Okay, on page 348 in your 2023 manual, you'll see mastitis, acute, diffuse, non-puerperal, subacute, and it brings you to some N codes. And then if you read down, you'll see the different ones, okay? And for this one, none of these really fit, like it's infective, cystic, none of that fits what we've got going on, except the obstetric, and it says interstitial, non-purulent, which purulent, if I'm saying that correctly, purulent means it's oozing something, like it's draining pus or something to that effect. Okay, so non-purulent means it's not draining anything, it's not leaking or anything like that. And it says obstetric associated with lactation, pregnancy, or puerperium. All right, and puerperium or puerperal is it's an indicator of time. It's like the 6 weeks after you give birth. Okay, so you're not pregnant anymore. It's the 6 weeks after you give birth when your body is normalizing again from being in gestation. so to speak. All right. So the pregnancy one, obstetric with pregnancy, would fit our stuff, right? And you see it's bringing us to an O code as well, 091.21, which if you look at gestational mammary is 091.11, right? So even though we looked at it two different ways, it's still bringing us to this 091 section, right? So let's take a look at that. Let's go to 091 and see what we see. All right, so page 1194, okay? Let's see, if you look in the right-hand column on that page, right up at the top, 091.1, abscess of breast associated with pregnancy, the puerperium and lactation, okay? So we know this is a gestational mammary abscess. We know she's 8 months along. So this is during pregnancy. All right. We're not in the puerperium and she's not lactating because she hasn't given birth yet, right? So if you look at the codes underneath that, all right, let's see, 091.11 is abscess of the breast associated with pregnancy. But it has that little red stop sign. We cannot stop there. We've got to go to the indent down and see what fits better. All right, so 91.111, abscess of breast associated with pregnancy first trimester. All right, and if you look, they have it highlighted for you, the differences in those three codes. It is simply first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, or unspecified trimester, right? That's the only difference between the 11, 12, 13, and 19 is which trimester. So that's the level of specificity they want. They want to know, okay, she has an abscess, but we also need to indicate which trimester she's in. So we know that she's 8 months along, and that falls in the third trimester, right? So our code is going to be the 091.113 to indicate that she has an abscess of the breast associated with pregnancy, and she is 3 months or 8 months along. She's in the third trimester. Okay. Everybody see how we got there? Fairly, you just got to read, y'all. That's all it is just going through the options and seeing what fits best and just, kind of paying attention to what you're reading, right? And but the books make it easy. They highlight things for us. They give us notations. They tell us exactly what we need to put to do it correctly. Okay? Awesome sauce. All right, so before we go to the chapter 3-4 exercises on these external causes, and y'all, external causes are not that easy. Like I feel like you kind of got to know it. You kind of got to know what you're looking for exactly. All right, so a little bit about external causes just as a refresher. They are not going to be a first listed diagnosis, okay? They are going to indicate circumstances that affect the care of the patient, and if it's probably going to be an encounter, not necessarily a disease or illness itself, like a car accident or a train wreck, something crazy. Yes, something crazy like that. It's going to be some type of incident or encounter, not necessarily a disease or an injury. Okay, so let's take a look at those exercises that we had questions about. All right, so the first one was railway accident involving derailment without antecedent collision injuring a porter. Okay, and the thing about this particular chapter exercise is they were basically just trying to get us to nail down and kind of get us to start recognizing what those external cause codes look like and where they come from. Okay, so in this first one, they're asking us for place of occurrence code. So it was literally as simple as going to the external cause index and looking up place of occurrence, literally. And then it gives you a list of places of occurrence of where this could have took place. So let's look at that. Let's look at our external causes index. And y'all see like most of it's accidents, right? Like there are pages and pages and pages of accidents. And a lot of your stuff's going to fall under that. But this one in particular, they want place of occurrence. So we're going to go to page 642. All right. And for this one, I would look for like either railway. That would be my first thing. I'd look for railway probably. That would be the keyword that I would zone in on. That or train. One of those two. Okay. So I'm looking under place of occurrence, and I'm just going to follow that first indentation until I find something that says rail or train. And let's see.
So we're looking for that underneath accident or under?
Under place of occurrence.
Oh,
Like you literally look up place of occurrence and it gives you pages of where something could have happened at. See, this one is kind of dependent on what they're specifically asking you for. Like this one is asking us for the place, and the other one is asking us, like number 2 is asking us for the person, the entered person code. All right. And so we're going to look somewhere different for that. But this one is just asking us for the place. Where did this happen? What code do we use to indicate where this happened? But to somebody who's never done coding, you wouldn't know that place of occurrence is in there, right? Like I
and
said,
that's what was throwing me off, because whenever I
yeah,
was looking that one up, I was looking for like railroad or train, but you can't find either one of those.
right. You have to know to look under place of occurrence. It's like I said, external causes, you kind of gotta kind of know what you're looking for. And there are things that describe the what, the where, the who. It's not the disease or the illness, remember, it's the encounter. The who, what, when, and where of coding. Of It's almost like you're writing a story. Each piece of information is a different code that makes up a story, right? All right, so under place of occurrence, you're going to follow that first indentation down until you find railway or train or something that looks like it's going to fit our thing.
I found train.
Found train. I
found train and railway, but it says railway line bridge.
Exactly. Railway line bridge. And that doesn't fit us. So we keep going till we hit train. And that was the next page, actually, page 644. In the first column, you'll see train, and it gives you a code for train, and then it indents down to station, whether it was the train or the train station, right? So we're looking, this was a railway accident, so we're looking at the train itself. So it's given us Y92.815. Okay, so we would go to that in our tabular index, which is way in the back, way in the back. Let's see, did I tabby that one? No. All right, so Y92. Hey, y'all, while y'all are looking for that, Miss Danielle is calling me. Give me just one sec. Hello. Hey. Oh, you all right? It's okay. I understand completely. I understand completely. No, we're over here practicing some ICD-10. We're actually right now going over chapter exercises 3-4 that y'all were talking about last meeting. We're clarifying some of that. So we're good. All right, no problem. Bye. All right. Anybody located?
Yes.
Got it? All right. Let's see. I lost my page. Which one is it? Y92
815.
815.
Which for me, it's on page 1637, but I have 2024. So I think it's a few pages before that.
Yes.
In 2023, it's 1,631.
That's it. That's it. Perfect. Perfect. Yep. All right. So we see in the Y92.81, it's transport vehicle as the place of occurrence of the external cause. So and you look down and they're highlighted for us: car, bus, truck, airplane, boat, train, subway, or other. And we know that we're looking for train. So that's Y92.815. But it's confusing if you don't know that place of occurrence is in that index, right? It throws you off if you don't know that. So it's just kind of when you get that extra information in a scenario about when or how something happened, you'll know to look for a code for that. See if there's a code that covers that so that you can indicate it on the record. Okay. So let's look at number 2 because it's a little bit different. Motor vehicle traffic accident due to tire blowout. Driver of the car was injured, initial encounter. And I will tell you what, I had to code this one backwards, get the answers out of the back of the book and work it backwards to get it correct myself, because I haven't coded a lot of motor vehicle accidents before. And basically the way it said that you have to do it, there's that huge section for accident in the external causes index, right? So for this one, they want the injured person code, not the code for traffic accident or anything like that, but the code for the person, which was the driver of the car, right? So the way they say to look for it, you're going to go under accident. And then actually, let me open it up to where it says that so I can read it to you exactly. All right, so it says you're going to go to your external cause accident index. You're going to look under accident. All right, and because this was a motor vehicle traffic accident, you're going to look under transport. Anything where something was moving, it's going to be transport. Okay, so we're looking under accident until we find transport. And then remember, we're looking for our driver, right? So under transport, we want car occupant, right? There was a person in the car. So you're gonna go car occupant, and then it's gonna let you pick which occupant, the driver, passenger, or what. Okay. And then it says your indent even down more to non-collision accident traffic. All right. So the reason this is so confusing is because it's like they have every option of type of accident and then all of the same options under that, right? Driver, passenger, car, train, boat, whatever. They're all the options like duplicate under each other. So it gets a little bit confusing, but you just have to follow down your indentions until you find the right one. And that's what That's what was hard about these, was following those indentions all the way down to get to the right one. Okay, so y'all let me know, which actually I have that one marked because this one gave me a lot of trouble. So I'll mark
Alright.
it. All right. So under accident, and y'all see there's so many columns to look through, right? So on page, in my book is page 608 in the alphabetic index. We're under accident, we're under transport, we're under car occupant. I'm in that third column, car occupant, and I'm looking collision, and then driver. So that's where we are, driver. And then if we follow driver down and look under there, we're going to say collision, but this was non-collision. Animal traffic, no. Animal drawn vehicle, no. Car traffic, non-traffic. So that's all under collision. We want non-collision. So down at the bottom of that column, I see non-collision accident, traffic, and it gives me V48.5. All right, now do y'all know why I'm picking traffic instead of non-traffic? Because that's the only two differences it shows under non-collision, is whether it was traffic or non-traffic. No? All
I'm
right.
assuming because they were like on the road.
See, that was my first assumption too, and that's you're not wrong. But at the very basis of coding, we code off of the information we have. We code specifically off of what our scenario says. So this says motor vehicle traffic accident. So that's what we got to go with, traffic. Instead of, it would say, if it wasn't, it would say motor vehicle non-traffic accident. Okay, so we always code off of what our scenario says specifically. All
Will
right,
it ever just say motor vehicle accident?
it might, in that
So
kind
then
of,
we would go with the non-vehicle
no,
because it doesn't.
then you would research. If it doesn't, if you ever get to a point where like say if you have something, it's like, okay, let's just say, and this is accident or traffic, non-traffic, or unspecified. If we can't make the determination between traffic and non-traffic, but there's an unspecified option that we can use, then we can use that. Otherwise, if there's only these two options, but we don't know which one and it doesn't specify, that's when we have to go back to the doctor or whoever and pull the records and find out exactly what it is. That's when the research part of our job will come into play. Is sometimes we do have to go back and get more information. That's just, it's common, y'all. It's common. The charts are not always as complete as we would like for them to be. They're not always as detailed as what we need. So going back to your provider and getting more information is not, I mean, that's something you'll do. It is something you'll do. Hopefully not a lot if their staff is trained right. And you can get them trained. Once they start dealing with you on a regular basis, they're going to know what you're looking for. Okay. Especially if you're consistently going back to them and say, hey, I need you to look this up. Hey, I need you to send me these records. They're going to want to avoid that. So they're going to get it right the next time. Okay. But yeah, so that's the thing about these accidents and the injured person codes, is that there's so many of them, and a lot of the stuff repeats, and it's just under a different subcategory. So it's just going through, it's just a matter of going through it all and seeing which one you got to use. That's it. That's it. Okay. So let's see. All right. So the code I came up with for number 2 was the V48.5, and then that was one of those that had to be brought out to the 7th character, right? And when you when you see initial encounter, you automatically know to look for that indicator, right? That A indicator. All right. So V48.5 XXA is the correct answer on number 2. So that's how you get there. And I know that that doesn't clarify it 100% because it's just kind of one of those things that you just have to read through, and it's kind of confusing to get through. But on the upside of wonderfulness, when you go to take your certification exam and when you're working in the industry, you're not hardly ever going to have to find this type of stuff. It'll be built in. You'll have software that's going to help you out with it. Don't let this stress you out. Okay? Don't overthink it either. All right, so let's look at number 3 real quick. Driver of an ATV or an off-road vehicle, or ATV stands for all-terrain vehicle. Also, if y'all didn't know that, I think everybody in the South is pretty aware of what an ATV is injured when he collides with a fence. And again, for this one, they are looking for the injured person code. So it's going to be very similar to that first one. You're going to have an accident, but instead of a car, it's going to be an ATV or off-road vehicle. Let's see. And I'm not sure which one it identifies as. Traffic, bus. But it's going to be the same. As far as process in the external cause index, I'm going to go accident, transport, and just instead of car, it's going to be ATV. Right. Let me make sure that. Yeah, transport, and then you're going to look for an all-terrain vehicle occupant. And he was the driver. And let's see, he hit a fence. So this is, it does not say traffic. So I think on an ATV, we're safe to assume non-traffic. All right. So I've already got the code up there for y'all. But do y'all see how the subcategories are different, but then everything under there is almost identical? You gotta, it's just about watching those indentions and staying in the column. That was one of the things I had issues with, was staying in the column that I needed to be in, basically, and seeing where that ended and something else picked up. But the correct code for this one is going to be V86.59XA. Again, we have to have a placeholder in there. And that encounter, right? That encounter indicator at the end. All right. Do y'all have any questions thus far? Has this helped to clear up the external cause confusion that we had going on previously? Is anything a little bit clearer at all?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Do y'all want to work through these last two? We're kind of running late, so I'll give y'all the option.
I had to leave, so I can't look them up, but I'm listening.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, we'll go ahead and run through these two real fast. And they won't take as long, y'all, because with those previous two we did, these are going to be almost the same. Accident, transport. Well, the number 5 is not going to be transport. It's actually going to be watercraft, because accident to watercraft causing other injury. So it's not going to be transport. But this first one, number 4, horse being ridden, rider injured, and non-motor vehicle collision, initial encounter. So this is also going to be an accident. Lord, they came up with one, huh? All right, so it's going to be an accident, also transport. There's horse being ridden, non-motor vehicle collision. So let's see. Accident, transport, and they want the person. So it's going to be animal rider, which is something, unless you do this on a regular basis, you probably would not guess that in particular. Transport, animal rider. And then after that,
Is it gonna say animal rider or driver and then animal?
I think it's just going to be animal rider. Let's see. Accident, transport. Okay, so let's see. Transport, 18-wheeler, aircraft. There we go. Animal rider. And then there's not a ton. I mean, there's a few options below it. And you can always, guys, if you just don't know what options below it you need to go to, you can always go to that main term starting point. To the, like on this one, animal rider starts on V80.919. You can always go there and start from there and just read down in the tabular index until you find what you need, instead of fighting through the alphabetic index. Let's see. Animal rider. And then it says collision with. So it was we do know that we had a collision with a non-motor vehicle. So collision with another animal being ridden. Collision with military vehicle. No. Non-motor vehicle. V80.790 is where that's taken us. So it's almost the same, except instead of a car, it's an animal rider, right? Instead of a driver, it's an animal rider. So V80.910 is where it's bringing us.
No, it's V80.710, not military vehicle.
Oh, sorry, wrong one. See, it's easy to lose your spot. You're right. V80.790. Yeah. And then it says initial encounter. And there's no, I'm not seeing where we have to add a placeholder on this one or anything like that. So it'd be the V80.790A. And to me, this is honestly probably some of the hardest coding that I've ever done. I'm not a fan of the external cause index after this. All right. All right, so let's look at this last one. Accident to watercraft, causing other injury, occupant of small powered boat injured due to collision, initial encounter. All right, so accident to watercraft causing other injury, occupant of small powered boat injured due to collision. And y'all, there's nothing wrong with having to read something 2 or 3 times before you intake what it says. There's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes the way they word things just doesn't make sense to me, and I have to read it several times to wrap my head around it. All right, so we would be, of course, and they want the external cause code. Okay, so we're looking for accident, then watercraft. It's not going to be a transport, it's going to be watercraft. Let's find watercraft. Lord, there's pages and pages and pages of transport. Pages. All right, so after transport ends 5 pages later, page 619 in your 2023 manual, in the last column all the way to the right, you'll see it says accident and then watercraft on your first indentation line. All right, V9 4.9. And then we're going to indent down. And it says causing injured due to collision. All right, so causing, drowning, injury. Not else were classified. We kind of have a classification there. It was a collision. Let's see, crushed between craft and object. Fall on board, fire on board, hit by falling object. Due to, caused by, let's see. Causing injury. So we're in the right column. Powered craft. They're saying it's going to be small powered boat. So they want powered craft. All right, y'all see where I found that in the alphabetic index? Under watercraft, and then causing injury. And then if you look down at your options under injury, it says hit by falling object, and then specified type, and it says powered craft, V9 1.83. Now the options underneath don't match: ferry boat, fishing boat, jet ski, merchant ship. So it'll be V9 1.83 is where we need to go in our tabular. Any questions as to how I got there? I basically, you've accident, watercraft, causing injury, powered craft, injured due to collision with this powered craft there. So it's just deciphering the information essentially, y'all. But again, remember what I said though, and it goes the same with the external cause index. Just because you start somewhere that might not be the correct starting place does not matter. You can still get to the correct code. Like I said, multiple ways to skin a cat. Okay. So let's see, there's your correct codes on those. Yeah. And once we didn't go to the tabular on number 5, I'm sorry about that. Got ahead of myself there. But it is one that you have to have a placeholder, and again, initial encounter. So it's going to have that indicator on the end. Okay. And these were chapter exercises 3-4. That was on page 56 in your book if y'all want to look back at that. Okay. I think that's it. It is. All right. So any questions, concerns about placeholders, external cause index, anything in regards to ICD-10 at all, really? Where we're going next over the next few weeks, we are going to get more in depth with the different illnesses and injuries as we go through the ICD-10 manual. We're going to look at each chapter basically and do a little bit of coding from each one so that you guys get that repetition, that practice essentially, because that's what's going to click it in for you. And hopefully the goal is every week that it gets a little bit clearer for you. It gets a little bit more understandable every week as we dig deeper and deeper, okay? And as you guys practice more and more. Any questions, concerns, anything at all? No? All right. Well, if you got, let me check the chat real quick and make sure that there wasn't something in chat. I have to log off. Okay. I appreciate you guys so much, y'all that had to leave early. I know we ran a little bit over today, but I think we went over some vital stuff, and I really hope that it helps clarify things for you guys. Make it all just, again, a little bit clearer and easier to, not so overwhelming. It's really not. Don't let it overwhelm you guys. Don't. And if y'all ever, especially my students, you can text me. Let me know, hey, I'm working on this chapter exercise, this question, and I will run through it with you. We will work it out together. And again, y'all, there's stuff that throws us off that we have to go back and research and Google search the definitions of medical terms and, to figure out which code we need to use. That's just part of it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Whatever, it's like we say, whatever resources you need to do your job, you use them. Use them all you can. Use everything at your fingertips. Okay. All right. Well, if you guys do not have anything else for me today, that is all I have for you. I really hope that you guys all go to the CMS website and just rack up on little things that you can add to your resume. I mean, why not? Why not? Get paid, y'all. Get paid. All right, folks. Oh, no class tomorrow. That was the other thing. No class tomorrow. We will be back on Monday. And everybody just have a happy and blessed holiday, a happy Easter and Good Friday. I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to my girl's house. We're boiling some crawfish. I'll have a little drinky drink and celebrate. So that's my plan. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend and a happy holiday. We'll see you next week.
You too. See you later.
Bye.